Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to give you the top 10 ways to earn a yield on your stablecoins. All of these are more established projects. None of these are going to be pump and dumps, and they're all going to be from pretty credible teams. Some of these projects are going to be completely new to you, and others I've covered on this channel. So I recommend you stick it through to the end and watch the entire video just to see if there's a new project that you might be interested in. I'm going to cover 10 different protocols that all have different strategies. So I think it's going to give you a really good scope of what to expect from stablecoins on DeFi. Now, as usual, please join the DeFi Innovation Chat if you have any questions. We've actually moved from Telegram to Discord. This has just been a lot better for the admin team, and we're able to help new members and just provide feedback much earlier to questions and comments. The link to that is going to be below. If you're already in the Telegram chat, I would recommend that you move over to the Discord because we will slowly stop supporting that Telegram channel. Without further ado, let's get started. So the first project I want to cover is Emstable, something I haven't yet talked about on the channel. But essentially, Emstable combines lending income with trading fees, and they do that to provide a higher yield on your stablecoins. Now, if you are interested in Emstable, you can head over to their app page, and you can see that you can deposit any number of stablecoins, and it will earn a yield of between 8.5% and 26%. Now, the 8.5% is the return from the lending and the swap fees. So basically, Emstable will try to find you the best yield on stablecoins across different lending platforms like Compound and Aave. You'll also earn a portion of swap fees, and that will total to about 8.5%. Now, if you're interested in earning a higher APY of about 26%, you can deposit your MUSD or, again, any of these other stablecoins into the IMUSD vault. What this means is you'll now receive MTA tokens as a reward, and that's the governance token for the Emstable ecosystem. So just something to consider. I will, of course, link all their docs below to information that you should really go over before depositing. The same goes for any protocol. Now, if you do have questions, again, check out the Discord, which is linked below. Now, next up, we have Alchemix, which is definitely a fan favorite. So with Alchemix, you basically deposit DAI, and that DAI earns a currently 20% APY. And while that DAI is earning interest, you can actually borrow half of the value of your deposit against that DAI, and you have no risk of liquidations. I actually have a full video on Alchemix, so I will link that in the top right. I also have a spreadsheet linked in that video where you can calculate the actual return you'd receive, which is actually going to be really substantial. So first up on their app page, you have the deposit screen. This is where you would, of course, deposit your DAI. And you can see that while it's deposited, your APY is going to be about 17%. This is actually the lowest I've seen it recently, probably due to the market downturn, so something to just keep in mind. Now, let's say you deposited $100. Well, that means you can go over to the Borrow tab and now borrow $50 of ALUSD, which is the Alchemix stablecoin, against that deposit. What this does is it basically gives you access to future yield on your deposit. So you can actually get a much higher APY than that 17%. And again, I show you how to do that in my Alchemix video. Now, once again, you definitely want to check out the spreadsheet just to model out how much you're actually going to be earning because there's other things you can do in Alchemix. So once you receive that ALUSD, you can go to the Farm tab and you can actually deposit your ALUSD and receive a 33% APR just off of that as well. So you're really stacking yield here, which is really cool. So next up, we have Frax. Frax is basically trying to create an algorithmic stablecoin that's partially collateralized. What that means is that part of the value of Frax is backed by USDC, and the other part is purely algorithmic. So the goal here is to create a more capitally efficient stablecoin. You can see right now the collateral ratio is about 85%, which means that 85% of the value of Frax is backed by USDC, and the rest is backed by the protocol itself. Now, I do have a couple videos of Frax on the channel, so if you want more details, again, that's going to be linked in the top right and then in the description below. But basically here you can stake Frax and USDC on Uniswap, and you can receive a APR for doing so. Now, this APR is going to be paid out in FXS, so that's just something to keep in mind. Now, the Frax governance token has seen downward pressure on the price, so that's driving these APRs down. And you notice here on the top right, there's actually two sets of APRs, a normal and a max. So Frax allows you to lock up your staked liquidity for anywhere from fully unlocked or 0 days locked to a full 3 years. So if you decide to not lock up your stakes, you can withdraw it at any time. You'll receive about a 9% APR. And if you lock it up for 3 years, you basically triple that, or about a 26% APR. Frax is a bit more of a complicated project, so again, check out those videos if you're interested in learning more, and of course you can talk to us in the Discord channel if you have any questions about it. Next up, we have Ribbon Finance, which is an options selling strategy. So I have a full video on this that goes in depth on the different products that Ribbon offers, but I'm just going to talk about the stablecoin one in this video. So basically with Ribbon, you can deposit USDC, and that USDC is used to sell put options on ETH. Now they pick fairly conservative ETH price targets. So if ETH is trading at $3,000, this protocol might sell a put option of say $2,000 as a strike price. So ETH has to be pretty volatile for this strategy not to profit. Basically, this is a way to short volatility, and this is especially useful if you think the price of ETH will go up. So obviously they're projecting out a very high APY. If we go to the app itself, you can see more details about this strategy. It is worth noting that you can see there's a negative 13% yield so far. Part of that is because the price of ETH, as I mentioned previously, went down about 50%, which is definitely an outlier. So that was not good for this vault's performance because in a way it goes long on ETH. Basically, you're just betting that the price of ETH doesn't have a drastic downturn, which of course actually happened last week. Now, I will say, although they project such a high yield, in practice, it's hard to tell what that yield will actually be. This is a very active strategy, so it's possible that some weeks you'll have a very high yield, and then other weeks you might actually lose money on your USDC. I, of course, have no inside information, but this protocol has no governance token, so it's possible that in the future they could airdrop that governance token to protocol participants in the future. Now, next up we have Aave, but I'm specifically going to be talking about Aave on Polygon because that's where the incentives are really going to play a part in earning you a high yield on your stablecoins. So you can see I have the Aave Polygon market selected here. And what this protocol does is basically a borrowing and lending protocol. So you can deposit your DAI and lend it out to other users. And in doing so, you'll receive a APY. As you can see here, there's various stablecoins that they support on Polygon, and these all earn a very significant yield because they're incentivized by that Polygon Matic token. So if you're willing to go to Polygon and bridge your assets over, or specifically your stablecoins, this is a great way to earn a yield on lending out money. It's also a great way to diversify your holdings because when you earn that Matic or Polygon token, you're essentially investing in that project. So if you think that Polygon has a bright future as a scaling solution for Ethereum, this would be a great option for you, of course. Now on Aave, you can of course lend on Ethereum, but your yields are going to be substantially smaller just because you're not receiving that Polygon token. Just something to keep in mind, and of course you have to make your own decision if you're comfortable investing on the Polygon network. Now next up we have Tornado Cash. I have a full video on this, so it'll be linked in the top right and below. But Tornado is essentially a privacy protocol or a mixing service. So you could deposit ETH or DAI or USDC, and all of those funds would be mixed together in equal deposits with other users' funds. So you can then withdraw that out to a totally new Ethereum address. You can see there's several different assets to choose from. The way you can earn a yield on this is essentially depositing stablecoins like DAI, CDAI, or USDC into the protocol, and the protocol will actually pay you out a yield for doing so. So they call this anonymity mining. Basically, when you leave your deposit in the protocol, it makes the privacy aspect of the protocol stronger because there's a higher set of equal deposits in Tornado Cash. You can see here with 1,000 DAI, there's 290 equal deposits, so you can be pretty assured that your privacy is secure with this protocol. Now, the way rewards are calculated for this are a bit confusing, so again, my video breaks that down completely, but basically you're going to want to consult this spreadsheet, which I have linked in my Tornado Cash video, to see what the ROI is going to be for depositing stablecoins. Right now, it looks like 10,000 DAI will receive a 19% ROI, and that's just in 6 months. So if we double that, that's about 36% a year. And those are going to be paid out in AP rewards, which are then converted to the Torn token. So with this project, again, you're not going to be compounding your stablecoin yield. You're going to be earning those Tornado Cash governance tokens. Next up is Stabilize. Again, I have a video on this. The link will be in the top right and below. But essentially, Stabilize allows you to arbitrage stablecoins when they're off peg. I'll go over the pools tab just to show you how that works. But a good example here would be the ZSUSD pool. So you can see there's 4 different stablecoins in this pool. You could actually deposit any one of them into that pool. And when one of these stablecoins falls in price, the protocol basically buys up that stablecoin with all of the liquidity in that pool. And then when it raises above peg, it sells that stablecoin off to a lower value stablecoin in the same pool. This allows you to grow your stablecoin position by arbitraging the price of stablecoins when they fluctuate slightly from peg. In addition, this protocol will also reward you with their governance token, the STBZ or stabilized token. So there's two ways you're getting a yield here. Again, because the protocol is depending on the stabilized price, I believe the returns are a little bit lower now because of the huge drawdown we saw in the market. But you can see that the APYs are still pretty significant for a lot of these pools, so definitely worth checking out. Now, next up is Liquidy. Again, I have a video on this if you want in-depth details on how the protocol works, but it's essentially an interest-free lending protocol. So essentially, users stake ETH and then they can draw down the LUSD stablecoin against their ETH as collateral. Now, you don't have to worry about any of that if you just want to return on stablecoins. Now, you can see here that if you stake LUSD, which is their stablecoin, you'll receive a 37% APR paid out in the Liquidy token. And basically, the goal of this pool is to monitor the loans, and as soon as loans are under collateralized, this LUSD is used to liquidate those loans. What's worth noting is that this APR doesn't include the ETH earned from liquidations, so that's not calculated in the APR. The reason being is it's just hard to estimate out what the level of liquidations will be going forward. But it's good to know that 37% is the base level APR. As long as there are liquidations, you'll also be stacking ETH from staking US dollars. Next up is Curve.fi. This is one of the more established protocols in DeFi. Basically, Curve is a stablecoin or stable swap AMM. What that means is it allows users to trade between stablecoins or other pegged assets without any slippage or very low slippage. Now, this is actually very similar to Uniswap v3. Basically, all of the liquidity is concentrated around the peg because these assets are supposed to be pegged in price. So you can see all of these pools have coins that are supposed to represent the same thing. So there's a 3 pool which holds DAI, USDC, and USDT. Of course, all of these are stablecoins that represent $1. They also allow swapping between other pegged assets, but again, I'm just going to cover the stablecoins in this video. It's worth checking out all of the APYs for various stablecoins, so go through this list, see which stablecoins you're comfortable holding and staking on Curve, and see which reward appeals to you the most. In this case, some of the APY is going to come from swap fees, that's here in this column on the left, and the rest of the APY is going to come from CRV or Curve Governance Token rewards. In some cases, the projects behind these tokens are actually going to incentivize the pools with their own governance tokens. So you can see with the SUSD pool, which is Synthetics stablecoin, is incentivized by an additional 2.67% SNX. Curve is a very established protocol in DeFi, so this could be a great way to invest in the CRV protocol by receiving that governance token without actually having to purchase it. So you're just going to receive that as a yield on your stablecoins. So next up is Yearn. If you're not familiar, Yearn basically compounds your Curve positions for you. So that means if you want to stake DAI or USDC in the Curve pool and receive rewards for doing so, this will automatically sell off the CRV token and any rewards you get from Curve and compound that into your position. So with this, you're going to purely grow your stablecoin position. Now, as you can see, they support a ton of different tokens, and it looks like the highest for stablecoins or for the main stablecoins right now is 14% or so on USDC. Now, a point of confusion I see a lot of folks make is that they actually try to go through Curve first and then go to Yearn to deposit that asset. Now, of course, you could do this, but it's just a bit easier to go directly through Yearn. So through Yearn's UI, you can deposit anything from ETH or really any asset or ERC20 you have in your wallet, and you can deposit that right into the Yearn vault. So this just saves you a step, similar to using Zapper.fi. Now, as with Curve, Yearn is one of the more established protocols in DeFi, but it's worth noting you are taking on a bit more smart contract risk when you go through Yearn and not just Curve. The reason for this is you're depending on the safety and security of 2 protocols, both Curve and Yearn, so if either one of those fails, you might be in tough shape. Definitely consider the risks and rewards here just to see what's right for you. And of course, you can always ask us questions in the Discord if you'd like to. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope that gave you kind of a tour of where the DeFi ecosystem is right now regarding stablecoins. It is my hope that DeFi's reputation will move away from these really risky bets on risky assets and people start appreciating these really great yields you can get on stablecoins. Definitely check out the channel if you are interested in any in-depth reviews on the protocols I talked about today. And then again, reach out to us in the Discord if you have any questions or just want to join the community and contribute that way. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.